Hey y'all, and welcome back to another episode of Door to Deceit. I'm your host Ash, and I'm happy you're here. I'm so thankful for the support as always, and I really hope y'all enjoy this episode. I'm not gonna waste any more time though, because I gave y'all a little breather on the murder and the mayhem, but baby, it's time to get back to business, okay? So if you've been here for a while, then you may be thinking sometimes you gotta watch family with a close eye. Keep a little eye on them, make sure they ain't on no bull. But baby, this case is absolutely gonna make you believe that wholeheartedly. Our story begins in Windsor, Wisconsin with the Halderson family. The family of four consisted of Bart and Krista and their two boys. Mitchell was 24, he worked in tech and was engaged at the time. Chandler was 23 and he had a long-term girlfriend and lived at home while he attended Madison College. He was studying for an IT degree. He had an insurance internship that he thought was really cool and fun. And he said he already had a job lined up at SpaceX once he graduated. Now, if you don't know what SpaceX is, it's Elon Musk's, how do you even fucking say that? Musk's, cause it's his company, okay? And they manufacture and launch rockets and spacecrafts, and I can honestly smell the bullshit from here, but we'll keep going. Krista and Bart were sweet people. They were hardworking and family-oriented, and no one really had anything bad to say about them. They loved their sons, and Krista wanted nothing more than for her boys to be the best men that they could be. In June of 2021, the family got together for Father's Day. Now, I actually found a picture from that day, and Bart is smiling so happily with his sons. Like, he has this incredible themed Father's Day t-shirt on. And it's like one of those awful ass shirts you buy your dad last minute. And, it's kind of fucked up because dads don't really get a lot of praise on Father's Day most of the time. So, you kind of last minute their gifts, but eventually you kind of see him wear that shirt more and you see it kind of become one of his favorites. It's really cute. And in the picture, Mitchell has this big old beaming smile on his face. Like, he's just happy to be there. Like, he's happy to be around his parents. He's happy to be there with his brother and his fiance and just having that family time. And then you look at Chandler. And baby, to say he is like the least happy person in the picture is an understatement. I wish I could show y'all the stark comparison between like his dad's face, his brother's face, and his face. It's like literal night and day. And like, I'm very big personally on people's eyes. Like, I am very intent about seeing a person's eyes before we like hang out and stuff like that, because I feel like people's eyes are genuinely the window to their soul. And this man in this photo had the deadest eyes I've ever seen in my life. Just complete vacancy behind them. And it's so obvious because you see it side by side with his dad and his brother. So it's just like, oh my God, like, he's not there. Like, he's literally not there. And then he has this little serial killer smile on his face. And it's just, He gives me the ick. Big time ick. But I mean, I'm sure, obviously, hindsight is 2020. So I'm sure when people did see the picture initially, they just thought he was pissed because he's wearing this big ass neck brace. And, I would be upset too. I'm gonna be honest. Apparently he had fallen down some stairs. He got a concussion, he hurt his neck, and now he had this big ass brace on. But either way, you can clearly see who's happy to be in the room and who is just there so they don't get fined. Because, baby, Chandler was not having it, and you can see it all over his face. So let's get into the meat and potatoes, right? We're fast forwarding to July 2nd, so about a month later. Krista was due to come into work, and when she didn't show, her coworker and friend Dan immediately got concerned. He knew her well, and she hadn't mentioned taking any time off, nor did she call off. So after reaching out and getting no response, he and his girlfriend drove to Krista's house to check on her. And I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I have to say, this is not the first, and as these pods continue, I can guarantee you it will not be the last time that we hear about how these coworkers go above and beyond like this. And I'm sorry, but I just have to take some time to give them their flowers. Like, y'all are actually doing the Lord's work. I genuinely believe that, because I don't think anything happens by coincidence. I feel like when these people have these strong ass urges that something is wrong, I genuinely feel like something, the universe, whatever you believe in, is sending those people over there to make sure that those people's bodies are found, or make sure that the investigation starts. Because a lot of times, like, nothing would happen if these people didn't speak up, if these people didn't go and visit or whatever. So shout out to them for real. It couldn't be me, because I'm not that nosy, but shout out to them. Anyway, Dan started snooping around the outside of the house. He's peering into windows. He's trying to see what's up. He ends up seeing a coffee table turned over on its side in the living room, but other than that, he didn't see any signs of disturbance inside the house. So he went around to the garage. He looked in there. He saw that both Krista and Bart's cars were in the garage. Now, obviously, he found that real odd because neither one of them was anywhere to be found. So as he continued his search, he started to enter into the backyard. At this point, Chandler came out of a side door in a towel, saying that he'd just gotten out of the shower. As if anybody fucking asked. But anyways, he also explained that his parents had to go up north to their cabin because there was an emergency there. It put Dan at ease enough that he went home, but over the weekend he was texting Chandler, he's asking for updates, and of course Chandler, his response was that the parents were having a little trouble with reception. You know, the updates were coming few and far between just because it's shitty reception up there at the cabin. Y'all hear that bullshit? Because I hear that bullshit, I'm not gonna lie to you. So the 4th of July rolls around, and Chandler and Dan end up speaking again because Chandler called him and started fishing for an invite to Dan's party. So Dan, of course, extended the invite, and once Chandler got there, Dan asked him again about his parents because, bitch, I'm still not getting any answers. My homegirl's still not answering the phone. What's tea? So Chandler said that he had spoken to his parents and that they would be home the following day. Now, he didn't say specifically who he spoke to, if it was his mom, if it was his dad, whatever, but he said they'll be home on Monday. So, you know, everybody's thinking, okay, cool. Monday comes, Monday goes, there's no sign of Bart or Krista. By Wednesday, Dan was not having that shit anymore, okay? He was concerned about his friend, and he urged Chandler to file a missing persons report, which he actually did. Now, Chandler told police that he'd last seen his parents on July 1st when he helped them pack for an emergency trip to their cabin in Lake County. Apparently, there were repairs that were needed after a storm. There was some kind of plumbing mishap or whatever. So to explain both of their cars still being at home, Chandler told police that his parents had been picked up before he woke up at 6 a.m. on the 2nd of July by a friend that he did not know. He also showed police a note that his mom had left with him, and there was like a number of a friend on it in case he needed anything, because he was still allegedly suffering from the effects of the concussion that he had gotten that prior month. So at this point, after the interview is wrapped up, the police are wasting no time. Okay, they're getting to searching, they're getting to looking, they're getting to investigating, baby, because the couple has been missing for days at this point. So police head straight to the Halderson home so they can search for clues and question Chandler a little bit more. The detectives immediately notice upon entering the house that parts of the flooring, it's missing. Like chunks of it, just gone. There's also a chunk of wall gone next to a door that was also no longer on the hinges. Like, girl, what? It's very much giving red flags, very much giving crime scene cleanup, very much giving lock him up, babes. Like, what are we doing? Put the cuffs on him now. Meanwhile, Mitchell has finally entered the chat. He and his fiance are at the cabin with police in tow, and they are searching the place down. They're looking for the parents everywhere. The police end up having to break into the actual cabin itself, and after searching a clearly empty and unlived-in home, they also break into the shed at the back just to be sure. Baby, that cabin had been sitting there unused and untouched for freaking ages. And baby, it is at this point that Chandler's ass is slowly becoming grass. And like, I watched the body cam footage, like as they search the property and stuff like that, and you can just see Mitchell's grief all over his face. He looks so sad and so disheartened. And I'm sure it's because, you know, his parents aren't there. They're not just at the cabin disconnecting from the world, trying to reconnect with each other or whatever. But they're gone. They're not there at all. Like, there's no sign of them. There's no sign they were ever there. So now you have no clues, you have no leads, you have nothing. And then on top of that, I'm sure in his head, he's thinking, man, this shit my brother told me just is not adding up. Because I mean, I know that's where my head would be at. I would be on the phone right then, like, hey, you know, like, what's good? Like, what are you doing? Why are you lying? What's going on? Mom and dad are not here at this cabin. I'm gonna whoop your ass when I get to the crib. Like, something, girl. Like, I would be losing it. So I can only imagine he was as upset, if not more, obviously, because he's actually going through it. It's just really sad to see. And then to know that as they're continuing their actual search, Chandler is busy going door to door and asking neighbors if they'd seen his parents, like they're fucking lost dogs or something. Like, he's just so full of bullshit. And I saw the footage of this as well. People released, I guess, their Ring cameras to the cops, and I saw the footage. And it's just like, he's like, oh, have you talked to my parents today? Like, have you seen my parents? Like, shut up. You know them people have not seen your fucking parents, dude. Like, ugh. Anyway, the next day, Chandler does an interview with a reporter at his home. And it's just a verbal interview. He's like, I don't want to be on camera, like, but you can record my voice. Like, girl, shut up. I don't want to hear nothing else from Chandler. I'm not gonna lie. That shit, like, I don't like him. That Ring doorbell shit really pissed me off, because you're literally just putting on. That made me want to punch his face. That absolutely made me want to punch his face. Anyway, on a tangent, my bad. So, remember how I said that he had a girlfriend, right? Chandler had a girlfriend. Her name's Kat. And luckily for her, she actually kind of helped, you know, hammer a few good old nails in her boyfriend's coffin with his dumb ass. So, here's the tea. With Chandler, right? You know, of course, he's super smart. You know, he's going to go work for SpaceX and everything, girl. Like, he's so intelligent. He's got it all together. So, of course, when he murdered his parents, he just kind of assumed, like, oh, the police are just going to investigate me, right? Like, he had to have thought that only his property or family property would be checked out during the investigation. But obviously, baby, you're wrong. Okay, when the police are looking for missing people and your story about their whereabouts as the last person to see them alive is not checking out, please believe they are on your ass, babes. And they will be invading every single part of your life, from where you sleep to who you sleep with. Which brings us to Miss Kat. Well, actually, more so Kat's family friend and her property. So the two had actually been invited over for the 4th of July weekend. And, you know, they went over. It was great. The friend showed them the property. It's like this big old ass farm. It was very beautiful from the pictures and stuff and videos I saw. It was very beautiful. So she showed them all of that and everything was cool, right? But the next day, she notices that Chandler is there again at her property, at like the edge of it, like the car's all backed in and shit, just very sketchy. And he's there alone. Now, mind you, this is Kat's family friend. This isn't his family friend. He literally like just met this lady, but you bring your ass over to this lady's property. And of course, I mean, it's a big property, so I'm assuming she didn't go out there and be like, hey, get the fuck off my lawn, you know? But like, I kind of wish she had, because baby, the investigation takes a turn when they search that damn field. Police end up searching the area, and remains were found on the property. Excuse me, actually, not just remains. Unidentifiable, mutilated, and dismembered remains. Police followed the trail of flattened grass that Chandler left behind, and it led them to a male torso covered in sticks and twigs. He covered his father. Oh God. Scissors, pruning shears, and a broken bow saw were found in an old abandoned oil drum nearby. They were just thrown in there and discarded. There was also a gun that was found hidden in a barn on the property. Police actually believe that is Bart's murder weapon. He ended up getting that gun from a retired veteran who he had met online and just kind of befriended the guy. And the guy was saying, oh, well, I'm getting rid of this gun or whatever. I might as well give it to somebody who's going to, appreciate it and make use of it. And so he ended up giving it to Chandler as a gift. And he said Chandler had this big old smile on his face. Now, mind you, I think he said he gave that to him maybe a month or two before the murders. So this was all very premeditated, or at the very least, he just wanted to off somebody. And this was his opportunity, because it's not even like it was a handgun. Like, it was a rifle. So yeah. Doing a fucking lot. The police end up arresting Chandler's ass that night, and they actually arrested him not for the murder, but they arrested him for providing false information on a missing persons case, because the shit that he told them about where his parents were, that was clearly false. The parents were never at the cabin or whatever. So they were able to get him on that charge to hold him. So that way he could not, escape or hurt himself or something like that, to keep, from facing justice as they were continuing to build their case. So during their investigation, they end up finding that on the morning of his arrest, he had been searching for information on his parents' death. He made 6 different Google searches back to back referencing body found or Bart and Krista. Like, you're telling me that this is the motherfucker that Elon allegedly picked to work on space shuttles and stuff? An idiot who doesn't even know how to use a VPN? Girl. All right. I just cannot believe that. Anyway, on the 11th of July, a warrant was executed and the processing of the Halderson home began. No weapon was found, but there were several spots in the house that showed positive for blood. And there was a shell casing found in the basement. The next day, on July 12th, the remains were actually identified as Bart Halderson, Chandler's loving father. It's just so unfortunate. I'm not going to get into it, but it's really unfortunate. Police are unsure of the day that he was killed, but his cause of death was listed as homicidal violence. He had also been shot at least twice in the back. That night, Chandler's charges changed. Along with his initial charge, they also ended up charging him with first-degree murder, hiding a body, and mutilating a corpse. So now he has 4 charges on his head. Now, this is where Kat makes her introduction once again. Chandler had been her man for quite a while, and before moving back in with his parents, he was living with a homeboy, and he would brag all the time about cheating on her, and he bragged a little too much, baby, because Kat ended up finding out, and she pressed him about it. Now, of course, y'all know how that goes. She, pressed him. He denied it. But of course, she did not believe him, right? So like any woman who's been cheated on and decided to stay, La Mama wants that location, baby. What's up? I need to know where you are, what you're doing, who you're doing it with. And if I see you at that bitch's house, it's up. Like, very much that. So during her interview, now this is before Chandler was arrested on the initial charge, the police asked her if she believed that he would hurt his parents. She immediately said no. And as a reasoning for why he wouldn't do it, she automatically said, no, he wouldn't jeopardize his SpaceX opportunity. He has that going for him. Why would he fuck that up? Your reasoning wasn't that, oh no, he loves them, or he's not that kind of person. But your reasoning for him not harming his parents is that he would lose out on something he wanted. I find that really telling. I would hope that if anybody comes up dead, missing, whatever, and somebody asks, do you think Ash did this? Do you think she could do this? I would hope they would be like, nah, she's not even that type of person. That's not even in her. Cause oh my God, what type of precedent am I setting for the people in my life if the first thing you bring up to defend me of me not being a murderer of people that love me is, oh no, she wouldn't fuck up her opportunity with her job. What? But whatever. She eventually went on to say that, they're his parents and he cooks for them and they have root beer floats together and they play Mario Kart whenever his parents want. And it's just like all of this is being said with a tone of total disbelief that they would even ask her this question. Like, you can tell she does completely believe that he wouldn't do this, but it's just like, girl, for that to be the first thing that popped out your mouth, I think you feel a little bit more about his character than you're letting on. Which, I'm not saying she knew anything about the murders or anything like that. I'm just saying, when you're with somebody, you learn them and you know them, especially as a woman typically. So it's just like, I feel like she probably felt like something was off with him, but that it couldn't be that. Like, it had to be something else. Maybe it's just he's a cheater. Maybe it's just he's a liar. You feel me? But like, there's no way he would do something like that. That's too far, is like the tone of how she was responding. Now, after Chandler's arrest, baby was singing a whole different tune, okay? She consented to the cops downloading her entire phone, all of her data, and luckily she had that location the entire time, because on July 3rd, she noticed that his location on Snap was near the Wisconsin River. So she took a screenshot, because it's just like, girl, what are you doing over there? It's like 9 a.m., 6 a.m., whatever the fuck it was, hella early in the morning. Girl, what are you doing over there? So she took a screenshot. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little shocked Snap did not snitch on her, because it's one thing. If it's one thing Snapchat is going to do, baby, it's going to tell all of your business. If you looked at something again, it's going to snitch. You screenshot, it's going to snitch. You delete it, it's going to snitch. Like, girl, there's no hiding anything on Snap. So I'm shocked it did not say, girl, she got your GPS and like told him. Because baby, Snap is a snitch. Anyway, sorry. She ended up taking that screenshot, and detectives actually decided, you know what, we're going to go search that area. Because he was over there during the time frame of the murders. We're going to go check it. And lo and behold, they found his mother's remains. So fucking sad. And apparently that was one of his favorite like swimming spots as well over there. So that's even more creepy. Like, just these family annihilator people, they give me the ick. They give me the ick. Anyways, over the next several days, the investigation continued, and the police were searching damn near their whole town and the next one over, it seems. More remains were actually found on the Halderson family property, as well as the phones and the IDs of both the parents. Phone records actually indicate that Krista's last text location was in Dane County, not Langlade County, where the cabin is. So that further backed up the fact that this motherfucker is lying. The cell tower that her phone pinged off of is the same tower that Chandler's phone used. Like, you're a literal idiot. A literal idiot. How can you claim to know anything about tech when you don't know that phones ping off of fucking cell towers, you freaking imbecile? Like, you literally have two phones sitting side by side texting. Just an idiot. Anyway, by August, Chandler was charged with his mother's murder as well. They also got him for hiding and mutilating the corpse and then providing false information on a missing persons case. Same stuff he got charged with for his dad, got charged with for his mom. Over the course of the investigation, though, police do feel like they discovered what his motive was for the murders. So for ages, he'd been telling everyone in his life that he was enrolled at Madison College. However, this bastard flunked out and hadn't told anyone. So when his parents started asking about his transcripts and stuff, Chandler decided he was going to create this elaborate email chain, faking correspondence with the school and all this other stuff. He even went so far as to include his father in the emails to make it like more real for him as well, so he would believe it more. By June of 2021, Bart had had enough, baby, and he called the college himself, but he was pretending to be Chandler. And of course, at this point, they spilled all the tea, because, I mean, who has your information more than your parents, you know? So, of course, he had everything the school needed, and they started spilling tea. So they let him know that Chandler was not enrolled there any longer. And they were trying to offer suggestions like, oh, well, maybe you just took classes but not actually enrolled in a program. Girl, the jig was up at this point. Bart also ended up learning that the internship at the insurance company that Chandler was talking about, fake. Okay, a damn lie. And shocker, he's also not going to be working at SpaceX after all, because another lie. Like, it's just all he did was lie. By the next month in September, Chandler was arraigned. And do y'all know that this, I'm trying to stop cussing, but this dirty dog had the audacity to plead not guilty. Like, that is just crazy. Your mom's remains were literally found near your favorite swimming spot on the river. Like, what are you even talking about, girl? Ooh. Anyway, the trial was set for January of the following year of 2022. Now, once they did make it to court, the prosecution's theory was that Chandler killed his parents because they discovered the truth about his lies. What a dumb reason to end the life of your parents, but girl, anyway. Not the first time, promise you. As these pods continue, you will see it will not be the damn last. People kill over the dumbest fucking reasons. Anyway, they believed that Bart was supposed to go with Chandler to Madison College on the 1st of July. Bart had been working from home that morning, and he ended up texting Chandler, "I'm ready whenever you are." And I'm assuming that was to initiate, like, you know, come on, let's go get your shit. Like, let's head on over there. I'm at a stopping point at work. Let's get it. But that was unfortunately the last text that he was ever to send, period. The jury was shown so much evidence, y'all. So much evidence, okay? But amongst that, some of the stuff that sticks out, there was a photo of broken glass from the fireplace that was at the house. Now Chandler claims that he broke it throwing a ball for the dog. Like, they were playing in the house, he threw the ball, it broke the fireplace. Girl, it don't matter how the glass broke. What matters is what was inside of the fireplace, okay? There was more than 200 human bone fragments found in that fireplace. More than 200 bone fragments. The jury was also shown a video from a neighbor's security camera that showed the lit fireplace going for hours in a window at the Halderson home. And prosecutors believe that on this day, this was when he murdered his parents, because he was there trying to basically cremate parts of them in his family's fireplace. Just like, no words. Honestly, no words. So this stuff, along with Chandler's story about his parents' whereabouts not checking out, the bullet casing found, the Snapchat discovery, the eyewitness account from Kat's family friend, store footage of Chandler buying a tarp and 20 pounds of ice, and all the cutting tools with both parents' DNA on them being found where his father's body was, as well as the gun that murdered his father being found on that same property. Like, y'all already know where his dumb ass is going. Okay? We don't even need to freaking say it. But I will. You're going to jail. The jury, they deliberated for about 2 hours and they found him guilty as hell. He'd been silent the entire trial, but decided to speak up at his sentencing. And y'all know what happened? You know, his surviving family, of course, they wanted apologies. They wanted an explanation. They wanted a reasoning for why in the world someone who was so loved and so cherished and would have been completely understood had he just, you know, talked to his parents. They wanted some answers. But y'all know what he gave them? Not a motherfucking thing. Instead, he gave a shout out to any lawyers who possibly wanted to help him with his appeal, because he would be appealing these charges. Like, girl, just a mess, okay? The judge ended up sentencing him to life in prison without the possibility of parole, just as he deserved. But I will say this, last April, you know, things got a little shaky and people were a little concerned. It was a little bit of an uproar because in April of 2023, 2 of his convictions related to hiding the remains of his parents were dropped. But it didn't change anything for him. He's still locked up exactly where he deserves to be for the rest of his natural-born life. Because here's the thing, right? How did killing them solve literally anything? You still don't have a degree. You still don't have a job. No internship, no future, and now no life. So what did you do this for? Like, I have to say, this is probably one of the dumbest fucking reasons I have ever heard of to kill someone. And not just someone, but your parents. Like, it's not even like they were trying to kick you out. They weren't trying to, like, do anything to you. Like, I could even see with the Grant Amato case, like, he actually felt like he had some reasoning for doing what he did because his parents were kicking him out. They were cutting him off. He had, to pay for his access to Sylvie, etc., etc. This dude had no reason, no rhyme or reason at all to do what he did. Like, you gonna kill your parents because you're an L and a bad liar. My dude, you got caught. Just move on. Like, now you're doing life and you getting poked on in jail. Like, how is that better than just facing the music and getting some help for your clearly pathological fucking lying? Like, I don't get it. I will never understand these people. Like, there's another girl, actually, Jennifer Pan, and it's essentially this same exact fucking story. She just hired people to do the murder for her instead of her doing it in her case. But luckily for her, well, I guess not luckily for her, but luckily for her dad, he actually lived to tell the tale. And I'm sorry, I just will never get any of this. I can't make any sense of it. Like, what do you think you're going to get out of this? We are in a day and age where you cannot scratch your ass within the comfort of your home without someone or a camera seeing it. But y'all want to kill people because you're a bad liar and think you're not going to get caught. Oh, honey. That's just a little too much for me. But anyways, I'm out of here. I want to thank y'all for listening, and I hope you are leaving having learned some lessons. And if not, maybe go back and listen again. I'll see y'all next time. And hey, do not forget to lock that door behind me. You never know what could come crawling in.